Hey guys, it's Maddie and welcome back to my channel. I have started posting obviously bookish content more recently, and I wanted to do the new BookTuber tag, the little question and answer. I think there's like 10 questions that we're going to go through, but I just want to take this to introduce myself and so you can get to know me a bit better and we can talk books. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? And I started to, I've had my channel for quite a while now, honestly, but I found my love for books again, and I wanted to find a community where I can talk about books because not a whole lot of people in my real life read, and I need an outlet to share my excitement, and I need to find more people to share it with and to talk about books. I also wanted a way to record and document the books I've been reading and some of my favorites, what I like, dislike, and to recommend them and to also find recommendations for myself. Way back in the day, I used to watch Elle Fowler, aka All That Glitters 21, and she would do her glitteratures, and those were everything to me at the time. Like, I will still go back and rewatch those videos because I loved just hearing her recommendations about the books and what she was currently reading and her thoughts on them. Number 2, what are some fun and unique things that you're going to bring to this community? And one thing that I really want to start doing and I'm interested in is doing book versus movie reviews and comparisons. I want to start with Twilight because a couple weeks ago I rewatched Twilight and I have 2 of the books, Twilight and Breaking Dawn, but I haven't read them in so long. Like, I want to say when I was in like grade 7 or 8, and I haven't even opened the books since then. So I think it'd be so fun to find other books that I can read and then watch the movie and kind of go back and forth and see what some of the key things are that they incorporated. I also don't have a huge like personal library, so I'm going to be utilizing my public library, and I want to talk about that and some of the pros and cons and just reading books when you don't have the funds to buy them yourself. Number 3, what are you most excited for about this channel? And I'm just excited to share books and to talk about books and to have somewhere to like pour my thoughts into and give my like ratings and my reviews and to create a community. I am not part of a book club, but I want to kind of treat this like a book club, like just having that community and the sense of like being welcomed. Number 4 is, why do you love reading? And one of my favorite things about reading is being transported to other worlds and being completely consumed by the characters and the plot and just losing myself into these stories and being able to come back to the words on a page and to relive different moments, and it can be a little bit nostalgic as well. Number 5 is, what series got you into reading? And when I was younger, it was The Canterwood Crest by Jessica Burkhart. I don't know if you can see them, but up here I have a few of the books, not too many of them, but when I was like, honestly, I don't even know what grade, that had such a tight grasp on me. I read every single one a part of that series and it was my favorite. But more recently, it's a standalone, and that is Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. That book was also incredible. I highly recommend. I don't really have any thoughts written down about it or even like a star rating because I read that book before I really fell into like BookTube. So I just remember it being a very good book and very like realistic and applicable to my life at the time. Number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? And I actually have 2 of them. So my first question would be, out of your own personal library, if you could only keep one book, what would it be and why? My second question is, out of all of the characters you've read about, which one do you relate the most to? Number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube will be the hardest to overcome? And I think that will be providing something different that isn't already done on YouTube and having like a different opinion and perspective of the books I read. And obviously everyone is very different. And just because I like one book doesn't mean that you will, but I just want to be different and also creating like a welcoming, safe place for people to come to. And the next one is when I get into the inevitable book slump and getting out of it and trying to find my love of books again. I haven't experienced it yet, but I kind of always know it's gonna come at some point, like you can't avoid it. Number 8 is when did you start reading? And I have always been very interested in reading. Like I remember growing up, I was like the advanced reader, one of those kids, and just always had a love of books. Like going to the book fair, that was my favorite, and always collecting books and having them on my shelf and going to the library, participating in the summer reading programs. And during high school, I fell out of my reading. I did the bare minimum, what I had to do, but didn't really go out beyond that. And then within the last like 2 or 3 years, I have rediscovered my love for reading, and it has been so great. Number 9 is where do you read? And I read basically everywhere. I read in my bed, my living room, my office, but most often I'm reading on the couch. Number 10 is what type of books do you like to read? And I basically enjoy every genre of book. I enjoy romance, just your typical fiction, fantasy. I'm starting to get into a little bit more, but growing up I read a lot of like science fiction and dystopian books, and I think those are kind of similar. I'm starting to get into like the literary fiction and dark academia, but I would honestly give any book a chance. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to tag yourself and do this video as well if you are looking to get into BookTube. But I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!